Hello everyone, I'm Gabby Kogan. For those of you who weren't here yesterday, I'm the president of the Hillel board this year. I'm a senior. So Chag Sameach, thank you everyone for coming. It's tradition for the Hillel president to give a Devar Torah on the high holidays every year, so here's my best shot. I'm here to talk to you all about the Torah portions that we read for Rosh Hashanah. The story of Hagar and Ishmael on the first day, and tomorrow's going to be the binding of Isaac. I think these stories are better understood together than apart, so I'm just going to discuss them together. The first thing I did when I was asked to write this Devar Torah is what any good student, scholar, and gentlewoman would do. I Googled it. And apparently, when you look up Binding of Isaac online, the first thing you get is the Binding of Isaac video game. And then when you refine the search by putting in the word Torah, you get a series of phrases like challenging, complicated, morally ambiguous, and most troubling story in the Bible. And I thought, dang it, I just wanted to talk about the new year. Moral ambiguity wasn't supposed to be until next Monday. So what's morally ambiguous about these Torah portions? Let's do a quick recap for those of us who aren't fluent in Hebrew. On the first day, we read about the birth of Isaac and the story of Hagar and Ishmael. We first hear that God remembered Sarah and gave her a son. So Abraham has a Abraham has a new child at the ripe old age of 100. A miracle. Isaac is circumcised, and at the party, Sarah notices little Ishmael running around. Ishmael is Abraham's first son by Hagar, their Egyptian servant. This reminds Sarah of something on her to-do list. Oh yeah, make sure that my son is the sole heir to Abraham. Sarah tells Abraham to drive them out so Isaac alone will inherit his legacy. Abraham is, quote, greatly displeased, but God assures him that he can listen to Sarah and that it will turn out all right. Abraham sends Hagar and Ishmael out into the desert, and it's a sorry scene. They run out of water, Hagar cries. Hagar can't bear to see her son die, so she leaves him under a little scrappy bush and goes a distance away to die by herself. Then an angel's voice comes booming out of heaven, and it says, don't worry, your son will be just fine. God will look after you. Hagar opens her eyes, and she sees a well. They both drink from the well, they move to a new city. Ishmael meets a nice girl, they get married, and they live happily ever after. Then there's a nice little interlude where Abraham engages in regional politics. We don't really hear about this part often. Abraham makes a deal with the Philistines. They exchange livestock, make peace with each other. Abraham throws in some extra 7 lambs for symbolism. Overall, you get the idea that Abraham is a competent, level-headed leader. Sure, his personal life right now is a bit of a mess, but at least he has a cool head in a crisis. So that's day 1 of Rosh Hashanah. That's what we just heard. So far, so good. On day 2 of Rosh Hashanah, things start heating up. Here's the opening line. And it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham, and he said to him, Abraham. And he said, here I am. And he said, please take your son, your only one, who you love, yes, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah and bring him up there for a burnt offering on one of the mountains. You would think that Abraham learned his lesson the first time. Sending your kid to die in the desert is bad. Last time, Hagar and her son got dehydrated, and Hagar cried, which made her even more dehydrated. So you come to temple the next day after hearing this story, and what's the next Torah portion? Oh yeah, Abraham commits to killing his child hands-on this time. He doesn't even argue. He just starts packing up for the trip. Really, Abraham? You'll argue with God for days about saving Sodom and Gomorrah for the sake of complete strangers, and there's no back talk when it comes to sacrificing your own child? Okay, I got the advice to connect this Torah portion to my own life, so I will make a promise to you right now. When I have a son, we're going on a long hike up a mountain, and only one of us is coming back. Just kidding. We'll come back to me later, but for now, let's continue our story. They get to the top of the mountain. Abraham makes the altar, ties up his son, stretches forth his hand, and just before he brings down the sacrificial knife, God interrupts him and says, "Never mind, forget Isaac." Abraham looks up and sees a lovely ram in the bushes instead. The Torah portion ties up in a nice little bow. God promises to multiply Abraham's seed like the sand on the shore and to bless his nation. When Abraham and Isaac get back home, they receive the news that Abraham's brother had 8 kids while he was away. The end. You know, when I actually had to read this Torah portion myself, I realized we don't know if Abraham is actually making the right choice, especially when we're just reading leading up to the ram. When he ties up his son and gets ready to bring the knife down, God steps in. He says, no, never mind, don't worry about it. Here's a nice ram for you to butcher instead. But is he rewarding Abraham for his loyalty, or is he saving him from making a terrible mistake? Abraham especially has no way of knowing when he makes his decision. I also found it striking that we never hear his thoughts. Is he leading Isaac up the mountain with a heavy heart? Was it difficult for him to reach this decision? We see him handle the situation with the same cool level-headedness as during the peace deal with the Philistines. All we see when we read is Abraham's action. So one of my biggest problems, one that I probably share with some of you, is that I think too much and I act too little. Is this the right decision? Does he like me back? Did I write down the wrong pages for the homework? It can be quite paralyzing. What I took from Abraham's story is that God favors those who act no matter what may be happening on the inside. Honestly, that's a conclusion I often draw from Rosh Hashanah. This is my fresh new leaf, my chance to take action, be better, faster, and then at some point, inevitably in the year, I fail. The year stops being perfect. What then? There's a second element to the story, a lesson that Rabbi Daniel touched on yesterday with Moses. After he smashed the 10 Commandments, the Jews put the fractured pieces in the ark anyway, honoring their mistakes and making the weight of the ark more significant, if a little bittersweet. The same here. This two-parter tale of Abraham's 2 sons is a tale of second chances. Look at how many chances Abraham got. Second chance at his son, second chance to help the son survive. At the end of the passage, his brother had like 8 chances to expand the nation. When you are most thirsty, God opens your eyes to show you a well. And when you feel like you want to kill your kids sometimes, God pulls back your hand, reminds you that you're just hangry, and offers you a mutton chop instead. The most important thing is to act with conviction in your life, even if you have doubts about the right thing. Mistakes come naturally, and forgiveness does too. We covered 2 sons, second chances, one more thing about the rule of 2. Around this time last year, Hillel was reeling. We had no director, and we're frantically searching for someone new. We were celebrating the new year, but were unsure of what it would bring. We needed someone to carry on the Hillel lineage, so to speak, so that the future generations of our community could be fruitful and multiply. And now we are entering a second year with those same questions. In this Torah reading, I see hope. When we least expect it, when Sarah is 90-some-odd years old and Abraham is nearing 100, there will be a little baby director Isaac around the corner. Thank you.